What's up, guys? My name's Paul, and I'm a 25-year-old salesman, and I got into some trouble recently when I insulted my boss to his face, which almost cost me my job. But the worst part is that I embarrassed myself in front of some people I truly admired. I only wanted to be successful and to prove to myself that I was worth a damn, but instead, I ended up looking like a clown. It all started when I heard the manager at my job was retiring. Cha-ching. Now, I'd only been working at Barkley Jewelry for a week, but I still thought I could get his job. I guess it's a good time to tell you that I'm a bit of an optimist. My mom says I got my killer instinct from my dad. And it's true. He raised me to always play to win, and that's what I did. So that's what I did. I played to win. For weeks, I thought about the manager title. I imagined myself swinging back in the big chair and laughing all the way to the bank. I thought about my dad's respect. I thought about winning. But the truth is, I also wanted to impress my coworker, Jayla. See, I had a bit of a crush on her, although I never said anything. It's mostly because I have a hard time talking to girls like Jayla. I feel like I need to impress them, so I try to appear as successful as possible in front of them. I don't mean to be a show-off, but I didn't know what else to do. Most of the others at Barkley probably would have rolled their eyes if they knew about my plans to be their manager. After all, they had all worked there much longer than me. But I had what it took, the instinct, the drive for success. The eye of the tiger. I knew that the salesman who had the best numbers at the end of the month would get the spot. So I was going to sell our top piece, the most expensive item in any Barkley store. Drawing its inspiration from nature, the L. Van Cleef necklace is a true statement of Barkley's creative vision. The purity of its distinctive spiral, the wonder of its star-shaped emerald, challenging the very essence of jewelry design. That was my pitch. Not bad, huh? I worked all my usual customers and looked to find any opportunity I could find. But the necklace was so expensive, even the highest rollers couldn't swing it.
I did not have sex with that woman.
One morning, I showed up to work, and Jayla mentioned that she didn't think the Van Cleef necklace was going to be with them much longer. I asked her if she knew something I didn't, but she just flashed me one of her smiles that made me try to show off. So I started announcing my plans to sell the necklace. I told Jayla that Mr. Barkley himself was going to pat me on the back and promote me to sales manager. Jayla asked me if I had met Mr. Barkley. Well, I hadn't met him yet, but I had studied him. He was the kind of man I was aiming to become, a legend in the jewelry game. He owned over a dozen boutiques in the Metroplex. I knew that my drive to succeed would lead me there. Everything would soon be in reach. A house, new cars, and plenty of girls to choose from. I guess you could say I wanted it all, and I planned to have it all. Later that afternoon, I was fantasizing about how impressed Jayla was going to be with me, and how one day she was going to practically beg me to be her boyfriend when some hobo-looking dude just waltzed into the store. The first thing I noticed was the greasy fingerprints he left on the door. He was just so out of place with his ratty beard and smoker's cough. He was lowering the value of gold just standing near it. I started making a few cracks at his expense to Jayla, but she just said I shouldn't judge a book by its cover. Now, I used to think that people just repeated stuff like that because I didn't know what else to say. I guess I just ignored her. The next thing I know, that hobo started inspecting the Van Cleef, and he touched it. I got so furious that I just screamed at him and told him to back away. I was about to kick him out when Jayla agreed to let him see the necklace. I took her aside immediately. That old-timer couldn't rub two nickels together and make a dime, I said. She just blew me off, rambling about books and covers again. I tried to give her some real advice. I reminded her that the Van Cleef costs more than most people's homes. Somebody who dresses like that could never afford it. Just then, a serious buyer walked in the door, and I was about to show Jayla that I was the big man on campus. This big spender went straight for the Van Cleef, like he was caught in his tractor beam. Oh boy, I wanted to teach Jayla a lesson so badly that I jumped all over the opportunity while I let her piddle away with the bum. He nudged me in the side and goes, "Ha, now my wife has some expensive taste, but I've never laid down anything quite like that before." I asked him if he had spoken to anybody in our sales department yet, and he told me that he spoke with Mr. Barkley himself over breakfast. Over breakfast? My heart nearly skipped a beat. I had it. I had the sale right in my hands. I just had to walk away with it. Everything inside of me was screaming to close the deal. I launched into my sales pitch. Drawing its inspiration from nature, the L. Van Cleef necklace is a true statement of Barkley's creative vision, the purity of its... He stopped me and told me that the only person he knew that could afford that necklace was his boss. "Well, would your boss be interested?" I asked. His answer clobbered me like a ton of bricks. "Why don't you ask him yourself?" I couldn't believe it. He was looking straight at the old hobo and calling him Mr. Barkley. Mr. Barkley? No, it couldn't be. It was. That old hobo was actually Mr. Barkley, the man I admired, the man I insulted. And the man in the expensive suit, well, was actually his chauffeur. I couldn't believe it. Then Mr. Barkley tells Jayla that he's giving her the necklace for her birthday, and I realized that she's his daughter. And drumroll please, he gives her the manager title. Big surprise. I didn't even know Mr. Barkley had a daughter, and I certainly didn't know it was Jayla. My head was spinning. I tried to introduce myself to Mr. Barkley, but it was too late. He was already offended. So I talked to Jayla, my new manager. I thought for sure I was going to get fired. And I guess I asked the question out loud because what she said next surprised me. She told me that I wasn't fired. In fact, she was pretty nice about it all. She told me she thought I was a damn good salesman, but she wanted to know what I'd learned. I knew exactly what she meant. And she was right. My whole life I've been chasing all the things that I thought would make me successful. Nice clothes, expensive cars, and pretty women. I worked so hard on the outside that I forgot what matters is on the inside. I bet you know the proverb that I'm thinking of, so tell me in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more true wisdom stories.